Hi and good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this, and welcome to the European Football Network Till I Die, as we'll build up to the England versus Spain game tomorrow. A game many England fans didn't think they'd be getting to. Everyone thought they'd be on their way home after when they played Slovakia, but look, they're in the final by hook or by crook. Joining me on this build-up, of course, is my usual co-host. The first one, he is a legend by name, a legend by nature. He's just a legend. And his name's Mr. Philip, the Godfather Brady. Philip, how are you? And look, it's been a funny old tournament, but have you enjoyed the tournament in the whole? Quickly, but how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine actually. Yeah, yes and no. I mean, some of the game for every good game, there's been two average ones, and for every two average ones, there's been a couple of really bad ones. So it's been okay. It hasn't been earth-shattering by any means.
Yeah. Joining us also is Colin from the Full-Time Sports Network, our official YouTube partner. Also from MUFC Spotlight as well. And, of course, from THFC Till I Die, who's part of the channel. Colin, how are you, sir? Looking very dapper in your Man United studio there.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I was actually trying to sort something out for this show, for background-wise, and I've just deleted it by accident, so I was just like, no, I give up.
Well done.
Yeah, you're fantastic. But no, yeah, I'm very, very good. Thank you. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm fine. And last but not least, well, he's just come back from rescuing somebody down the well. He's just got his Scooby snacks, and he's sitting there quite comfortably with his hat on, with the peeking out of his ears, getting ready for England tomorrow night. Of course, it is the one and only Tequila, the last to come home. How are you, Tequila, this evening, sir?
I'm okay. A bit of a cough, so if I mute myself, it's because I'm coughing. But other than that, I'm all right. How are you guys?
Yeah, we are all grand. I'm going to start with you, Philip. England, Spain. Did you think at the start of the tournament, did it ever come into your head this would be the final?
Well, I expected Spain to be in it. That's for sure. I thought that they've been the best team by quite a distance in this tournament so far, in my opinion. England, the first couple of performances, in fact, nearly all the performances, bar the one against Holland, were pretty underwhelming. I mean, it took that wonder goal by Bellingham to actually keep them in the competition, really, And, they pushed on from that. And if you'd asked me 10 days ago, Spain-England, I'd say no problem, easy win for Spain. Don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a very tight match. And it would not surprise me if Southgate's luck held out and England actually sneaked it, even after penalties.
Yeah, I do you know what? I've got the same feeling as well, Philip, somehow. I don't know why. I just do. I mean, look, I'll go to you in a minute, Colin, because I've got sort of a Man United type question because of Kobe in the team as well. But Tequila, you being like a dedicated England fan with 3 Irish supporters here, what's the mood in the country at the moment? Is it a mood of disbelief? Is it a mood of jubilation, or is it a mood of we have to do this now? There's no more excuses. So what's sort of the mood of the country?
It's a bit mixed. We have been here before twice. You've got to think that eventually, like if you get to the final enough times, the luck will go your way. For example, I'm talking about Spain getting a red card within the first 20 minutes or something, and then having 11 men for 60 minutes, right? That kind of luck. Sometimes it will have to go our way. That's how I look at it. It is tomorrow the day. It could be. I think Spain are very good. Spain are going to be the favourites. But like Phil said, it's like, I don't know. Like I say, there's something. It's like he's been so lucky. And with the Bellingham goal and always coming back from behind, that this team, for what it might lack in football and ability, not individually, but as they play as a team, they make up for it in grit and determination. And I don't think you can accuse them of not having that. They've come back multiple times throughout the whole tournament. So they are hard to beat and they're resilient, and there's no getting around that. But I think we'll need a bit of luck, but it can happen. Southgate's a very lucky manager.
So it's your third major final ever. In your history, so and he's took you to both of them.
He has. He probably doesn't get enough credit as he probably should get. I think the reason why people don't like him that much is because I think there's a thought that we have that if we had a more progressive manager, that we would be how Spain are. That's winning every game in style.
Yeah.
Is that realistic? Probably not. But we should be better than we are. And I think with a better manager, that's what England fans feel. Maybe it's an entitlement that we have that maybe we shouldn't somehow, that we should be winning these things. But if you go man by man, we've still probably got the best team in the tournament.
Yes,
but we don't play like the best team in the tournament, and that is on Southgate. But no, if he wins it, he wins it.
Yeah, Colin, look, you got Kobe because you're Man United representative playing outstanding. I think he's been the player of the tournament for me for England. I think he's been outstanding. How much experience do you think of fear factor of these younger players that are in the team that it doesn't bother them? And how much were 3 years ago? Sort of, I mean, I think 3 years ago they would have learnt a lot. Southgate would have learnt a lot from 3 years ago. The mistakes they made. Do you think it would stand them in good stead? And how proud have you been of Kobe, being a Man United fan? I've seen a young lad of 18 years old playing brilliantly, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to Kobe. I mean, we knew here at United, I think quite a few people knew how special Kobe actually seems to be. And it's been absolutely amazing that he's been able to go to England and probably be the best player that England have had. Over the course of the tournament anyway. So, yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I mean, when you're like, 16, 17, 18, probably up to you're about 23, 24, I'd say, you don't play with fear. You just go out there and you just play football. That's all you want to do is just play football. So I don't think they face any fear, to be fair.
No.
Although I will say I'm very, very interested to watch the little battle that's going to happen tomorrow between Yamal and Kobe. That is going to be a fantastic watch because it's two of the best youngsters in this Euros going head to head.
Yeah, I mean, look, Philip, for me, I'm looking at it from an Irish point of view, right? We're not there. And we're disappointed we're not there. We didn't get through a qualification group and deservedly we didn't qualify. But on the fans' point of view, I think this has been the first tournament in my memory, Philip, where there's been hardly any trouble.
Well, yeah. Funny you should mention that. I just looked up today. Somebody put up a list of the top 10 or the bottom 10, if you like, of countries that cause fan trouble. And England or Scotland weren't even in it. In fact, the country that caused the most problems with the fans is quite surprisingly Croatia. So England being fans, well, you see incidents. Obviously, there's going to be incidents. Little things going to happen everywhere, and no doubt they're going to be picked up and put on social media. And you think, oh my God, this is terrible. But it's isolated incidents like that. They've been very well behaved, absolutely, extremely well behaved, and fair play to them for doing it.
And and look, there is a minority in all fan groups, Philip. Let's not get that wrong. There's a minority in every fan group that cause trouble. But this is and it's in Germany, and there was Holland and England fans sitting next to each other all the way through this tournament. There's been fans sitting next to other fans.
Yeah. And that's the way it should be, but it unfortunately cannot be in some areas. Can you imagine putting Fenerbahce fans sitting next to Galatasaray ones?
Yeah, but
I'm just using that as an example,
Why do you think it's worked in this tournament? What's happened?
The beer's been watered down so much. That's the reason.
The beer has been watered down. The England fans' beer has been watered down. It's kind of a shanty.
Nobody's drunk anymore. They wish they were drunk. They spent the same money as normal, thinking they would be drunk, but they're not drunk.
Yeah, but you look, the German fans have a reputation. The Dutch fans have a reputation, and it seems to be around the whole tournament. It's been a very calm, well-behaved tournament, which is society changing slightly in a way.
I'll tell you one thing that's probably I would not like to mess with the German police. No. I'll say that could have something to do with it as well, because these guys don't mess around, And I say that the England fan went well tutored how to behave, and they appear to have in the main accepted that. Now let's hope that tomorrow night, if things don't go England's way, there isn't a reaction then. The frustration might just get the better of them, but hopefully not.
Colin, what's your thought on it? It's been on the tournament as a whole. It's been a festival, hasn't it? And that's the way it's been from start to finish, in my opinion.
Yeah. Apart from obviously the odd one or two little incidents that we've heard about, everyone's been enjoying the football, and this is what I like. You know, the Euros, the World Cups. It's about football fans coming together and supporting their international clubs, watching the game that they love, and that's what it should be about. So I'm happy that it's just gone the way it has gone.
Yeah, and big up Carl Simpson. Said hello, gents. Big up, Carl. Hope you're doing well. And everyone, do please like and subscribe. This is a new channel, and this is where all the non-Spurs stuff will be. So do hit the like button. Do hit the subscription button on all the channels that have been streamed on this. You know what? If you can. Right, let's get into it, guys. Let's get into the final and the build-up, and we'll look a bit at England's route to the final. Who wants to start with this one? We'll start with you, Philip. We'll start with the first game, Serbia, England. What was your? I mean, they got a win.
Yeah, just about.
Which is important, but a win's a win.
Yeah.
Do you know? Were the warning signs out early that this is not going to go to plan? Was there any fear in your mind? You thought, do you know what? They might not get out of this group.
Well, once you get a win, and once you win the first match, the chances are you're going to get out of the group. Really, you know. So that took the pressure off. The Denmark game now, that was a tough one on them. Didn't play very well in that. Denmark probably should have won
watched that one, didn't we? You and me actually did watch along to that.
They probably should have won it. And then the Slovenia. The Slovenia game, a bit of a nothing match, really. They knew they'd gone through. They didn't have to do much that game, you know. So the group was completely underwhelming, I think would be the best way of putting it. You know, they got through. They got through.
Yeah. And then Colin, look, round of 16, we've got Slovakia. They beat Slovakia 2-1. Do you feel that's where the tournament changed for England with the Bellingham overhead kick? They were going out in Slovakia 1-0 up. England lost their ideas. You could see the knives out for Southgate, booing, you're no good, and all this. And suddenly Bellingham does what Bellingham does best, scores a worldie. Do you think that's where it changed for England in that game, Colin?
No, not really, because we turned up to that quarter-final and played absolutely dreadful as well. I think it was the quarter-final where we started kicking into gear, because that England-Holland game, the semi-final game, was the best game England have played. England want to count the lucky stars we've even got to the final, because, you know, we absolutely robbed Slovakia of that win. 100% robbed them. When we won in penalties, and penalties is a lottery anyway, so anybody can win that. But no, I mean, yeah, the quarter-final, I think, is where it kind of clicked a little bit more for England than what the round 16 was.
And then, Tequila, the semi-final against Holland, what was your... I mean, that's the best England have played all tournament, I think, the first half. So what was your thoughts on that semi-final?
I thought that was the only game where probably England deserved to win, if I'm honest. I don't think... I mean, maybe I suppose they deserved to win against Serbia, I suppose, but that was quite a drop game, if you remember that. All of England's games were job really, other than the semi-final. So the quarter-final, again, penalties is a bit of a lottery. So, but you know, luck was on his side against Slovakia. Jude Bellingham, a minute of brilliance or a second of brilliance, saved Southgate because we were going out, as you know. So I don't think England really deserved to be there. If I'm going to be honest, and this is the honest truth, I don't think we deserve to be there. We certainly aren't, for example, the second best team in the tournament. That probably was Germany. But we're there, and you can only beat what's in front of you. But it's going to take something special there, mate. I don't know what, but something special.
I mean, guys, we'll open this up to like also first one jumping. You look at that group. It was a tight group, wasn't it, really? That win was vital where they got their side of the draw, wasn't it? If they didn't win the first game, do you think Denmark could have won that group, guys? Do you think England would have finished second, third? What do you know what I mean? It could have
Denmark were better. Denmark were better than us in that match. Not didn't blow us away, but they were I'd say they were slightly better than us in that match. And probably, if all things had been fair, they could have maybe squeaked a win. So yeah, Denmark. If Denmark would have played as well against us as they did against the other two teams, then they would have. They could have easily finished first. You know.
Yeah, Philip, do you know?
Yeah. I think the England's biggest fear, I think, was coming second in the group because that would have pitched them in Germany, I think, in the next round. So I think Denmark probably. Denmark didn't. It was Slovenia went through, wasn't it? Which I'll just remind me which teams went through. England came first.
Slovenia, wasn't it?
Slovenia and Denmark. No, that's pretty sorry. Look, Slovenia and Denmark came second and third. They both went through.
Yeah.
But I think England was vital for them to keep on the right side of the draw. Because I think look at the other side. Look who Spain have had to beat to get to the final. The likes of France and Germany and whatever. So England have been adequate. They've done what they've had to do. They've done enough to get through. Tomorrow is the big test. Can they raise their game? And I'll just to give them a little bit of incentive. Look what happened at Wimbledon today. Now I know it's nothing to do with football, but the number 31 seed won the Wimbledon women's title. The seed, she was seeded 31st, and she won the title. So that's incredible. Girl from Czech Republic beat the number 7 seed. So listen, Spain are there to be beaten tomorrow night.
Yeah, they are. I mean, Colin, you look at that run to the final. Has it inspired you, like after this tournament, to keep Southgate in his job, or do you think a change is now needed?
Until the semi-final, it inspired me to go take up watching cricket or something like that. It was dull. Do you know what? You got to give. I don't like Southgate at all. I think he's useless. I really do. His tactics are boring. He leaves things too late, even though it has paid off for him a couple of times now. But no, it hasn't inspired me to keep Southgate on at all. He's a fairly okay manager at international level.
Steady Eddie,
yeah, that's what he is, as a steady Eddie. I mean, I'll flip it round here, Dermo. Would you be happy if Southgate took the job at Ireland, for instance?
Good point.
I'm thinking.
I would. I'd take him.
No, I wouldn't.
Really?
No. If you qualify this for a major, I mean, anyone's better than Stephen Kenny, to be fair. I mean, Barney the dinosaur would have been better than Stephen Kenny, and that says a lot about Stephen Kenny. If he got us to a major tournament, then yeah, I would say yes. I just want a manager to come in to take us to tournaments, and I've got stats on Gareth Southgate, and we will get to him more properly later on. But he's got you to 2 major finals. He's done more than any other England manager's done since Sir Ralph Ramsey.
See, right, I've got a thing, and Tequila might back me up here. Okay, he's got us to 2 finals. Congratulations. But who really, and honestly, has actually been any good this Euros apart from Germany or Spain?
Georgia. I give Georgia. Georgia were a great team to watch. They mightn't have got anywhere, but they were a great team to watch in the games they played.
Yeah, I think Georgia's won. Portugal were good in patches.
Well, do you mean the Ronaldo FC?
Yeah. International Ronaldo. No, but you're saying that in patches. I'm on about consistently good every single time they went out onto the pitch.
Yeah.
No, I think Spain's the only one.
Spain have been very good.
Yeah. So I mean, there's been no real competition. You know what I mean? England have made it harder for themselves because England have a bunch of players that are individuals. They aren't a team.
And you look at France. How awful were France?
Yeah, they were dull as well. Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, you know. France have been awful. The Netherlands haven't been very great either.
Italy have been poor as well.
Italy were poor. England's been poor. You know, the only 2 teams that have been relatively good every single time they've gone out onto the pitch is Germany and Spain.
Yeah. And even then, Germany are gone. You know, they're gone.
Yeah,
because they ran into Spain. Yeah.
It looks to me as if England were the best of an underachieving bunch of teams.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The thing is, Phil, is that Simon Jordan, who can be sensible sometimes, actually made a very good point. Under Southgate, who has England beaten who you wouldn't have expected them to be, and it's a fair comment. Both his routes to the finals have generally been against lesser teams. Now, Netherlands is probably one of the topper ones he's beaten them and deserved to beat them. But a lot of the teams to these two finals he's got us to were against teams you would have expected.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
but England have been fairly lucky though. Generally, when it comes to drawing in a number of competitions, they've never really got stuck into a group of death like other teams have been. You know?
No, but to be fair, you have to beat what's in front of you.
That's true, but Germany, it's better to beat the likes of Slovenia and Denmark than France or Italy. You know what I mean?
Well, see, you look at the Euros 3 years ago to beat a very poor German side. Then they beat a very good Denmark side 3 years ago, and then they lost to Italy on penalties where they should have won that game. So if you look at it, has it been twisted on its head a little bit that England were probably one of the best teams 3 years ago, got to a final and didn't win it? Italy weren't one of the best teams, got to a final and won it. Has it been switched on its head a little bit for this tournament where Spain haven't yet had a bad game? And you can see how they've got to the final. I mean, look at the group stages. Colin, I'll start with you on this. I'll give you the groups to go through, and then I'll come to you, Philip, and then you, Tequila. You look at the group there, Colin, man. You look Spain, 9 points, 3 wins out of 3, didn't concede a goal. And me and Tequila did the first Spain watch along, didn't we, Tequila, against Croatia?
Would be a lot closer than it was, and it wasn't.
Yeah, and also with Yamal as well. So how impressed were you in Spain's group? Because that's a tough group to come out with, by the way. There were no easy games in that group.
Yeah, I mean, Spain's group was one of the hardest groups. Probably besides Albania. Come on, I'm not disrespecting Albania, but you know, Croatia and Italy and that. We all know what Italians are like. Sometimes they turn up and then sometimes they're too busy eating pasta or something. And I don't know. And Croatia, and pizza. But we know what Croatia are like as well. Croatia are one of these teams that we've seen that never die. You know, doesn't matter what score it is, they'll try and come at you and at you and at you. So it's very impressive that they've obviously done the 9 points and kept a clean sheet in every single game as well in that group stage. Yeah. But you know, Spain have turned up in a different class this year. It's going to be very, very difficult.
Just before we get you, Philip, Wayne Bonnery says Spain and Germany have been the best teams. I think we can all agree with that. England have played absolute crap to the Holland semi. Thus, the final is going to be a great game. And he says Spain have played football the proper way, attack, defend. They've attacked from the off and kept going, and then defended, kept the ball to see it out. Philip, before we get to you, Tequila, Philip, Spain. I mean, we are going to look at the key battles later on in the show with England and a few Spain. Is there one Spanish player that stood out for you and you thought he's emerged from this Spanish team like player of the tournament for Spain? Who's that player been for you?
There's been two of them actually, the two wingers, Nico Williams and the young lad, the 16-year-old, what do you call him, Kamal?
Yeah.
They've been absolutely superb. And what I even more admiration for Nico Williams when I heard his life story, how they actually got to Spain. I don't know if you've heard that story. He was a refugee from one of the Africa, Somalia, I think it was. And they had to walk across the desert before being put in the boat and brought to Europe. And his brother also plays for Atletico Bilbao, an elder brother. And he's gone through hell to get where he is now. And I'll tell you one thing. Whichever Premiership club gets him, if they ever get him, what a buy that's going to be. Then you've got the other lad, the 16-year-old, who has to bring his homework with him on the tournament. I mean, he has been a revelation. That goal he scored in the semi-final was probably the goal of the tournament. You know. Yeah,
it is. It is for me. So, and then Tequila, you look at to beat Germany, and then they beat France in the semi-final. I mean, Germany, they were going out. And it was heading to penalties, and they nicked it in the last couple of minutes of extra time. Spain had dominated France from start to finish, to be fair.
I think Spain has generally made a massive statement this tournament. Even if somehow that England do manage to pull a win, it still will be remembered, I think, a lot for Spain, because Spain have made history, 6 games winning, and they've done it with style as well. There's no luck. There's been no, unlike England, there's been no luck involved. They've said
No.
luck is for losers. We're just going to go out and we're going to take it to everyone, and that's what they've done. And as Phil said, those two players they've got on the wing, especially this the kid from Barcelona, who I'd heard the name, but I admit that I'd never seen him. And he's gonna. I'm not going to say he's going to be the next anything. I hate when people do that, but he's going to be a big time Barcelona future player for them, and obviously he already is big time for Spain. He's emerged. This is the tournament. This is his tournament, and he'll be remembered. This is the stage where he came to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, look, Spain for me has been lovely to watch. I've loved watching Spain. Question: which team has disappointed you the most in this tournament? For you,
France.
For me, Italy disappointed me greatly. And if you look at the final 3 years ago to the final tomorrow, do you feel that some of the youngsters might freeze on the Spanish side? It might be a bit too much for them.
No.
The occasion being in a final.
No.
And if you look at England 3 years ago, can they use that experience tomorrow night where some of these young Spanish lads never played in a final before? And
yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying there, Dermo.
Yeah.
I mean, they can do that, but you got to think at who these young Spanish lads have got playing around them. Rodri, multi-time winner. Morata, multi-time winner. Ruiz, Laporte, Navas, Cucurella, all these players that are experienced. And even players like Dani Olmo. I know we haven't mentioned Dani Olmo. He's only 26. He's at Leipzig. Fantastic player. He's changed games already. He's a fantastic player as well. So,
I mean, look, there's 5 Spain players for England to be wary of because Yamal, Rodri, Olmo, Williams, and Ferran Ruiz. Philip, forget, like we've talked about Yamal and we've talked about Nico Williams. Rodri, I mean, he's a Man City player. He really is a player you will want in your team, isn't he? And for me, is he like the general of that midfield? He just sits there and picks them off, doesn't he? Really,
he's the most complete midfielder in the world, I would say. Probably, I'd say if not, he's one of the top 2 anyway. He is superb.
He's got some kind of crazy record as well, isn't he, Rodri?
I mean, the thing about will worry me, Rodri versus. Yeah, he's never lost a match or some like a stupid thing like that. But Rodri versus Egg Fried, I think is going to be a bit of a bit of a mismatch. Yeah. I think, I really think he's going to dominate that midfield tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, look, Colin, you look at Ruiz as well, another player that's underestimated in that Spanish side. I mean, there's a lot of players in that Spanish side I've got to be wary of. And if you look at the battles here, which is the most battle you're looking forward to seeing? Which out of like Williams versus Walker, Bellingham versus Rodri, Kane versus Laporte, Yamal versus Luke Shaw, which one are you going to look forward to watching tomorrow night with a little bit of interest?
Probably the Bellingham Rodri one, to be fair, because it's the most pivotal one for both teams. It's that battle of the midfield. But I think we're going to see a lot more. I think we're going to see Yamal, Kobe Mainoo as well. That'll be a battle I'll be interested to watch. But I just want to say about, obviously, Rodri, we're speaking about his unbeaten streak at the moment.
Yeah.
The last time he had an unbeaten streak, Manchester City got beaten in a final and Kobe Mainoo played against him. So hopefully Rodri's unbeaten streak in Spain will end and Kobe Mainoo will help us again. Yeah,
that's just apologies. Philip's laptop is frozen, so he's just had to drop out. So I don't know if he tried to come back in. I think Tequila, look, Harry Kane versus Laporte.
I'm more interested in Walker versus Williams. I've got to be honest.
Okay then. Well, go with the one you're looking forward to seeing. So
Kyle Walker's obviously a really good defender, and I want to see if Nico Williams can get the better of him. I think he can, with all due respect to Kyle Walker. And I'd like to see Williams in the Premiership, so it'll be a good indicator. I think I already know the answer, but I still still want to see it. I think Williams is a great player. So
yeah, and the Yamal against Luke Shaw. Do you think Luke Shaw's the right person to play? Who'd be better, Trippier or Luke Shaw against Yamal?
Luke Shaw. Out of those two, Luke Shaw. I don't think Luke Shaw's. I mean, Com obviously knows a lot more about him than I do. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's a great player, but I think he's better at left back than Trippier. So he's left-footed. I like my fullbacks to have the right foot. You know what I mean? So.
And Colin, Luke Shaw. Do you think he started final? He hasn't played. He's been out for a while now. Colin, what's your? Is Trippier be a better defender against Yamal or Luke Shaw a better shout?
No.
If you're okay with Southgate.
I mean, I want Shaw to play because Shaw is a left back. It's his natural position.
Yeah.
Yamal is a different prospect because he has never played against him. But if you look at the players Luke Shaw has played against, he has played against some very quick, tricky, small players. But it's not the defensive work as such why I want Shaw in. It's the attacking work that he actually does for the team as well. We get forward a lot better when Luke Shaw's on the pitch compared to a Trippier. Defensive side, it's a really, really hard one because, I mean, I think because he's not match fit properly, he's only played a couple of minutes here and there.
Yeah.
If Spain are sticking Yamal on that side and it is the left back's job to deal with it, I don't think I start Luke Shaw simply because of match sharpness.
I was saying that, Com. But Trippier hasn't had a particularly good season this year.
No, he hasn't. But Luke Shaw's not had a season.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, I get Tequila's point, and I get your point as well, Colin. Luke Shaw's been out, but Trippier.
The answer is he should have taken another left back. That's the answer, really, isn't it?
The answer is he should have taken a left back. Yeah.
Yeah, but look, Bellingham against Rodri. I mean, that's going to be interesting. Harry Kane. Look, the Harry Kane debate. We all going to go through our predicted lineups for tomorrow. I really struggled with mine when it came to Harry Kane because. And you've known before, of course, on our THFC channel, when we've debated on here, me and Philip have totally different views when it comes to Harry Kane. And Tequila, you've seen that as well, and so have you, Colin. And it's a massive debate. Look, it's going to be interesting, the battles tomorrow. Where do you think, where is the main battle going to be? Is it going to be in the midfield, or is it going to be how you stop Yamal? Because Yamal likes to cut in. He doesn't run down the wing and cross a ball a bit like Luke Shaw or Saka. He's a bit like Saka. He cuts in all the time. Is he going to find it hard cutting in because there's going to be England players there the way England play? He's going to run into players, isn't he? So how do you is that the best way to stop him?
This kid don't care.
No, he don't care. Like I said, he won't be thinking about it when he's on the ball, will he? He'll just be playing.
It's just like him being in the playground, isn't it? It feels that way.
Yeah, but if you look at it, he does cut in a lot. Is that England's best chance to stop him?
No, I don't think it is. The best way for England to stop, and it's the same, the best way for Spain to stop England is winning that midfield battle, which is why I think the Jude Bellingham-Rodri battle and probably the Dani Olmo, if he plays, versus, either Kobe Mainoo or Declan Rice battle will be the most important. If you control the midfield, you control the game, basically. Yeah. If you can't get past that midfield, then you're not attacking. It's as simple as that.
So, really, tomorrow's finals could be more about tactical than it is about anything else. Who gets their tactics right in the night? And
don't say that, Dermo, please.
Well, it is. If Colin's saying what he's saying, it's all going to be about getting the and this is my point. Has Gareth Southgate learned from 3 years ago, and that where he tactically made mistakes in the final to now? So he did the other night. He took Harry Kane off and brought on Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins scored the winner. So do you start with Palmer and Watkins, or do you start with Harry Kane and what you have been doing all through the tournament? But you saw with Holland, when Ollie Watkins come on, he was quicker, and the Spanish defenders are not the quickest in the land. So do you start with a quicker striker, or do you start with Harry Kane, who who's going to drop deep? and pass all around the pitch. We've got nobody up there to get on these passes. So what do you do? If you're Gareth Southgate tonight, guys, what would you be doing? What would you be thinking? What would your tactics be for tomorrow? And I'll start with you, Colin. I'm going to give you time, Tequila, to get your tactics board out. A bit like, what's his name? He does it on Sky, Jeremy Carragher. If you were doing that,
don't call me Carragher. Oh,
I'll call you Gary Neville then.
No, not him either. This is Manchester United.
Colin,
be him.
How would you set up tomorrow? What would your tactics be tomorrow if you were Gareth Southgate?
You know what? It's really, really difficult. I think first thing I'll be doing is watching how Spain play. You know, taking the time, watching their games, seeing how they progress, how they transition, all this and all that. But the key thing I'd say is, because I think only one team has really done it to Spain, possibly maybe two, but one team I can remember that really did it to Spain is go on the front foot, go gung-ho, straight at them, straight away, because Spain know that England fans will be a bit worried and the English team might be a little bit concerned about the quality Spain have up front. If we go gung-ho, straight attack from first minute, then it's going to give Spain they're going to have to go, oh, whoa, hold up a second. What's going on here? You know, we're used to watching you sit back, collect the ball, and try and hit us on a counter.
Yeah.
What's going on here? You know, and I think that's what we need to do. Just guns blazing from minute one and hit them. And if we can get an early goal, fantastic, get an early goal. But do not transition back to defensive, let them pile on the pressure.
He will, though, won't he? That's the thing, Com. He will.
Oh, yeah, he will. And we can't. England cannot afford to do that with Spain because Spain will punish them for doing it.
I mean, look, Spain could have an off night and England could have a great night and nick it. But I agree with I mean, Tequila, I think you agree with Colin when he's saying.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you've got to give Spain something to think about. Spain play with a freedom that English just don't seem to be able to. And I think it comes from the manager. I think the Spanish, they're just given more license to do their thing. It's Southgate's more cagey. England are always too cagey, and that's been a criticism of them for a while. And with the attacking talent we have, we should be a lot more attacking and free flowing than we're set up to be. It's just not how the man is, and that is one of the drawbacks of Southgate. He's a defender at heart, and I think that shows in his team.
Now, if you are in London and you want to go to watch the final tomorrow, if you want to go out, these are the locations where you can watch it. At Box Park at Wembley, the O2 Arena, between the bridges, Big Penny Social. What the hell is Big Penny Social? Don't know. Peckham Levels, where you can join Del Boy and Rodney and Dave down at the Nag's Head. And then, of course, if you're in Hackney, the People's Park Tavern. So there you go. Best locations, apparently. I did a lot of research into this. These are the best locations to watch the match tomorrow.
Those two Arena, I know well, but some of the other ones.
This is England's full international record against Spain. They've got a 55.56% win record against them. They played them twice in 2018. Spain beat them at Wembley 2-1, and then England beat Spain away 3-2. So that is the last time they have played Spain. Now, Gareth Southgate, we all know he's got a lovely relationship with England fans. But look at his record. This is coming from an Irish fan, right? What are you not complaining about? I mean, if you look at it, he's got a 72% win record. He's got you to a World Cup semi-final, a Euro final, a World Cup quarter-final, and another Euro final. He's only lost 16 out of 101 games. He's won 61, 24 draws. He scored 212 goals, and he's only conceded 69.
Yeah.
So, what are you guys complaining about? He's your best manager since South.
Because we only generally beat mostly the teams we're expected to beat. That's what we complain about.
Yeah, but
I mean, no stats. Yeah, they look good, but you'd have to probably put every single team, and then we look at the quality of the teams where he's beaten, and then you look at the teams who he's lost against, and then that'll give a much better idea of how. I know what you're saying. You're going to say to me, "Well, you can only beat what's in front of you." Okay, that's fair enough, but still, you ask the question, why us fans are kind of because we beat the teams we're expected to beat, and we don't really. It's like being a manager in a Premiership where your record against the top six is absolute shite, but you win all your other games, so your record percentage is going to be high. But when it comes to playing against the best teams, you always suck.
I mean, Colin, do you agree with Tequila? I think you do. But from my point of view, you look at that stats and records and you're thinking, yeah, he has been your best manager you've had in a hell of a long time.
Yeah, if you look at those stats, they're very favourable towards him. But like what Tequila said, you got to look at other stats. Like, for instance, I'm just looking now at not every team, just the top 10 teams. So that's Brazil's, Argentina, Germany, Portugal, Spain. These ones. And Southgate's win percentage is just over 30%. Just over 30%. It shouldn't be. We've got a £1.2 billion team. We should be beating no matter who it is, whether it's Spain, Belgium, France, Portugal, Croatia, Holland, Germany. It doesn't matter. We should be beating them. And not only that, the other issue we have under Southgate's teams, we don't score a lot of goals. I know it's saying there we've got 212, but against the top 10, we've only actually scored 10 goals past the top 10 teams in the world, which isn't good enough, which is why why England fans and that complain so much. Because, yes, when we're coming against teams like, I don't know, Slovakia and Slovenia, these lower, no disrespect to them, but lower ranked teams, we play well, albeit we haven't done this Euro, but we do tend to play well. I mean, how often do we play San Marino?
San Marino.
I think Gareth Southgate's managed against San Marino a couple of times, and they've both been 7-8-0 wins. So that boosts up his stats there for the goals. There's a lot to look into. I don't think just pulling up some numbers, like in a total thing, like what Tequila said, is accurate enough. We need to have a look against the teams that we're going to be competing against, such as Spain and everybody like that.
So the question is, if you want a man, who do you think's the best man to take over and to give you what you want as England fans?
See, I've got two names. That I would love to see take over. The first one is Jurgen Klopp. I would love to see Jurgen Klopp in charge of England. I don't know whether it'll happen. I know they're trying to persuade him at the moment to take over a role or potentially take over a role. But the other one that I wouldn't mind seeing is Pochettino.
Yeah.
That's a good show.
Tequila?
Yeah, I'm with Com on Pochettino. And believe it or not, before, obviously, now he wouldn't, but when Jose Mourinho, when he was free and there was talk of him, I actually thought he would be a good option as well. But obviously he's gone now, but I wouldn't have minded him. But if you want to go the whole English route, which some people are very adamant that it should be an Englishman, it's much less pickings. I mean, Eddie Howe's been mentioned. He's at Newcastle, but if they decide to go in a different direction, he could be free. And there really isn't that much other than him. Who else are you looking at from the English
Graham
side?
Potter.
I mean,
that'd be the other name.
As Graham Potter managed, I know he obviously managed Chelsea, but that was 6 months. Is he high enough profile kind of thing? I mean, I know Southgate wasn't high profile either, but Southgate obviously was embedded in the under 21s all those years, so that's why he was able to kind of get promoted.
The life as an international manager is very up and down. I think we paint it out to be a lot easier or harder than what it is, because theoretically, every single time you manage your team, bear in mind, I know there's international friendlies and everything, but 90% of the time, it's knockout football.
Yeah.
And I actually think knockout football is easier to manage and coach than league football.
Yeah.
Because you've only got to do it for a couple of weeks.
I mean, you look at international. I mean, we finally got our manager after the longest search in world football history. I mean, Ireland outdid Daniel Levy for looking for a manager. That's saying something. I mean, and we've got a manager that has most of his career managed international sides. He was joint manager with Iceland. He managed the Jamaican side and made them quite competitive, got them up the world rankings. He done the same with Iceland. He was the part manager when they beat England in 2016, I think. So do you want? Is it time to go foreign with England? I know you did it once with. You've done it twice with Sven-Goran Eriksson and
Capello. Yeah.
Capello, but. Will the FA? I wish Bobby was here because we could get a good answer for Bobby. But is it time to go foreign again with England? You guys, like we've gone foreign. We've now gone from an Iceland manager.
I'm a bit. I think I'm a bit. Maybe I'm a bit old-fashioned. I feel it should be an Englishman. It doesn't have to be. I'm not like, oh my god, I can't have it if it's not. But just the way I think that. If I was in control of everything, I probably would make it mandatory, just like the way the players are, that the manager's got to be an English citizen of some sort. Mm-hmm. But I'm old-fashioned. That's just where I'm coming from. But there's much less options, as I said before.
Yeah. Colin?
I don't care. I don't care whether they're English, Portuguese, Slovakian, Saudi Arabian. I do not care. As long as their CV is good, I do not care. And their football. The football's got to be entertaining as well.
Yeah, that's it. Wayne says, I'll go 2 up with Kane dropping deep and Watkins up top. We're going to go through the predicted lineups in a minute. And Boris says, seems we won 7-1 behind closed doors against Cambridge United. We did. 7-2 in the end.
That's Spurs, not England, he's talking about, right?
Yeah, I know. But I'm going to do a video about that, Boris. But there's a bit of transfer news. But there will be a pre-record going up after this. I'm going to do it after this stream, and I'll get it up for you tonight. And then about from goals from Brennan, 2 guys from Sonny, 1 from Mikey Moore, on goal set up a team out. We will get all into that. So big up to Boris. Now, predicted lineup time, guys. This is interesting. This is going to throw the cat among the pigeons. And who we're going to start with? The first one we're going to start with is with Colin. Right, Mr. Colin.
Is that a 5-2-3, Com? You've gone.
He's playing a 5-4-1.
Okay.
Right. Take us through your England lineup. Who have you picked? Formation, and why did you go for this?
I'm actually playing a 3-4-2-1 here.
Right.
Okay. Shaw and Saka wing backs. The reason why I've picked Shaw and the reason why I've only changed really 2 players from the whole team because this formation seemed to work against the Netherlands. We looked a lot more in control at times with this formation. Obviously, Pickford's always going to pick himself because nobody's going to get in over Pickford, even though I think Ramsdale should. But Pickford's played the whole tournament, so Pickford stays in. I think we need Walker in there to try and deal with, obviously, the pace of Williams because, my God, that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Stones and Gahey, obviously, Gahey's had a pretty solid tournament as well himself.
Yeah.
John Stones for that physical battle against Morata. I think we need somebody like John Stones. Luke Shaw, is one that I'm not 100% sold on, but he's a left back, which is why I've put him there because he's naturally positioned there. I think the holding midfielders, Mainu and Rice, have been fantastic. Well, Mainu has. Rice has been up and down, but I think they speak for themselves as well. Yeah. Bellingham, yes, okay, he's been hit and miss, but I think he likes to turn up at big games, Bellingham.
Yeah,
this is a big game, and I think we'll see a very good performance out of him. Phil Foden's had a fantastic season at City. I think he's done quite well, reasonably well when he's come on. I was debating whether to put Palmer in over Foden, but I decided to go with Foden just because I just think Foden offers us a little bit more than what Palmer does at the moment. And that's no disrespect to Oli because he is a fantastic player. And obviously the big one here is I have dropped Harry Kane and put Ivan Toney up.
Why?
The reason I've done this is because he can do everything Kane can do and more. Ivan Toney is a goal scorer. He can score the goals. He can hold up the ball and play. He can drop back in. But the difference is with Toney and Kane, if Toney drops back in, Toney has the pace to get back up front. Kane doesn't. So if we're going to be playing this whole thing where we're going to sit back a little bit and we're needing that outlet, then Tony, I think, is the man because he has more pace. I could have put Ollie Watkins in there, but I don't think Ollie Watkins is physically as strong as Ivan Tony.
Right.
It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle tomorrow. So that's why I picked Tony.
Yeah. What do you think of that lineup, Tequila?
I probably don't agree with dropping Kane. I know why Com's done so. He's got more pace than Kane, and I suppose you can say he's a better penalty taker, but I'm not sure that he's better than Kane in the other ways. But I understand why Com's done it, because Kane is dropping too deep. The ideal situation for me would just get it through Kane's thick skull. Mate, you ain't at Spurs anymore. You don't need to drop deep. There's creativity in your team. You don't need to do that job anymore, mate. So fucking stop it. That's what obviously I think needs to get. It needs to be told, but
he needs chaining up so he can't go past like so far back. You know what I mean? That's what needs happening.
Well,
he needs something around his neck or something that beeps as he's running back, and if he continues to do it, his head blows up or something like him.
That'll make him run the other way.
Yeah, it shocks him. Yeah. It's like shock treatment until he gets it. It goes off.
You just see Harry Kane drooling on the floor after he's been tasered like foam gun out of his gob. This is now Phillips' England lineup. This is what he's put. He picked Pickford, Trippier, Stones, Guerrero, Walker, Declan Rice, Mainu, Egg Fried.
Put Rice in there twice.
Right, Rice so nice, you named him twice.
Oh yeah, I meant to put another. I forgot who else did he pick. Sorry. Hang on. He picked Pickford, Walker, Stones, Guerrero, Trippier, Foden, Egg Fried, Manu, Bellingham, Saka, and Kane. So it was Bellingham supposed to go in there where Egg Fried is. So that's his lineup. It's a bit like a Christmas tree formation, that isn't it?
Is that that looks like a kind of 4-3-3 defend kind of formation?
Yeah. Now this is Tequila's. Do you want to go through your lineup there, Tequila?
Oh God, I ain't got my glasses on. Let me bring them.
Okay. You have Pickford, Shaw, Stones, Geary, Walker, Egg Fried, Foden, Bellingham, Eze, Kane, and Saka. So talk us through your pick.
Yeah,
you made a few changes there.
Yeah, so the argument's been about is that midfield too light? And I will take that criticism on board. Is that midfield could be overrun, because what I'm asking a lot of your mate Rice, right? I'm asking him to do a hell of a lot. He ain't my mate,
believe me.
Yeah, because I want Foden and Bellingham to generally be much further up the pitch, right? Or at least if having an understanding between the two that if one goes forward, maybe the other has to not go quite as forward, right? Eze is the one player which I could easily change for a Gordon. So Saka would be on the right. I think you put him on the left. But anyway, so Eze is like, well, that's my kind of flexible where you could put a Gordon there or another winger, right? Or a left-footed. So that's what I'm looking at about it. I do take what Com said about Kane, and that would be my worry as well. If Kane does drop deep in this formation, then is he gonna start getting in the way of Foden and Bellingham? So there's going to have to be some kind of discipline that happens there.
Somebody said to me today, I was speaking to somebody today about Kane, and they said if it wasn't for Kane, we wouldn't have got the penalty. Well, we all know it wasn't a penalty. Yeah. But it's the Kane. I always said it's the Kane question, the same as Ronaldo. And a lot of people said, no, it's different. It's different.
Yeah.
Well, it sort of is the same, because Harry Kane is a striker. That's his job. His job's not to play as a cam or an attacking midfielder. If that's the case, then start him in that position.
What I'd like to know, Dermo, is to be a fly on the wall between the conversation between Harry Kane and Southgate. Is Southgate saying to Kane, just go out there and do your thing, leaving it complete freedom? Just go out there, Kane, and do what you do. Or is Southgate saying to him, yeah, mate, by all means, drop deep? Because obviously Southgate's not saying to him, no, mate, stay up front. Stay up front. You're the focal point of the attack. Stay up front. I don't want you dropping deep. And if Southgate is saying that to Kane ain't listening to him.
No. I mean, I know it's very old-fashioned. I mean, we've all played football here. Obviously, we've all played different positions. I have played as an attacker in my heyday before I decided to go back to other end of the pitch. I was always told, play on the shoulder of the defence if you're a striker. Stay there. Stay in line with the defence. Don't come back, because if we get this ball and we're hoofing it long, you're the outlet. We need you to get that ball.
Yeah.
You can't do that if you're deciding to, set up camp next to Declan Rice.
Well, if we take our EFC team, for example, Colin, you say that to me because I've dropped deep quite a lot with my player.
Yeah, I do all the time. Any striker, you and I think I've told Tequila as a central attacking midfielder, don't worry about coming back too much.
Mm-hmm.
If we need the help, then come back. But the defense and the wingers will cover that space because that's what we're there to do. You guys are the outlets. But obviously that's not real high football. But I do want to ask Tequila something here.
Yeah, go on.
I have one glaring issue with this team.
What's that?
There's no Mainu.
I haven't got.
That's not because I'm a Man United fan. It's because he's been the best English player this tournament.
Yes, and so you could argue, okay, then, so you take in my formation, which is just mine, and obviously it would be Rice or Mainu. I'm not saying that, right? I mean, I've chosen Rice because he's more established. That doesn't.
Did I pick the right formation for you, by the way, Tequila? Because I just took it. That's what you wanted.
No, that is Other than Saka would be on the right as a.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, I get my left and right mixed up.
And I want a left footer really on the left side. So, like I say, it easily could have been Gordon. I mean, to be fair, Gordon's not even been given a sniff. What was he given? 1 minute? Why bother taking the lad? But
I mean, this lineup that Tequila's put out is actually, when you look at it, it's very versatile, because obviously when we're going forward, we've got an attack line of 5. And then when we're defending, I know we've got the 4 at the back, but Bellingham and Foden can easily drop back into the side and either side of Rice. And then Saka and Eze can invert inwards a little bit as well to compact that space. It would work, to be fair.
And you look at Phillips' lineup, right? It's sort of the same, isn't it?
It's not. Yeah, it's not dissimilar. Other than the fact there's 2 Rices, Demo, because you love them so much, you couldn't help.
Yeah, I look.
You see, the only concern.
Stop pointing at my mistakes, Tequila. Stop pointing them out.
Who did Philip mean then? Who has he got next to Manu then? Who did he actually choose?
Well, I think at the time he's looking at his laptop and throwing it out the window. I think he's got Pickford, Walker, Stones, Gooey, and Trippier as the back sort of goalkeeper and back 4. Foden is Phil Foden.
It must have been Foden. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not the only difference is obviously is that he's put Bellingham on the wing, and he's included Mainu, whereas I've kept that to be a winger.
Now, to be fair,
the only issue I've got.
Go on, Colin. Sorry.
The only issue I've got is I worry about having a single central defensive midfielder.
Yeah, that would be my concern about getting overrun there a little bit. Yeah.
Now, to be fair, Philip didn't give me a formation, so I just went with which I thought was the best. I mean, I could have done a 4-3-3, but that's what I went with. So if I haven't got his formation right, he will let me know. But that is what he's got. This is mine. Gone a little bit different.
4-2-3-1. You've gone for.
Yeah. As you can see, I've got all the club badges behind the players. I only realised I could do that after I couldn't then do that. I couldn't go back to all of yours and do that because I couldn't be asked to be fair, because I was the last one to do mine. But I've gone for Pickford in goal. I've gone for Kyle Walker, John Stones, Geary, Luke Shaw, the back 4. Gone for Kobe and Ed Fried as the defensive midfielders. I've gone for Saka, Foden, and Bellingham as the 3 midfielders. And of course, Harry Kane with Watkins to come on for Harry Kane. I wanted to start with Watkins, to be fair. And that would have been my choice, put Watkins ahead of Harry Kane. But I don't know why I went with Kane in the end. But is
Watkins not more influential against tired legs? Is what would be my argument. So he's actually better Watkins to bring him on at the 60 minutes or something.
It's a super sub, isn't it?
A question I have for this. Now, as a Spurs fan, we remember the 2019 Champions League final where we all thought Lucas Moura should have started ahead of Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Now, believe it or not, Harry Kane is the joint top goal scorer for Euro 2024. Believe it or not.
You've got 2 goals. Is that the joint?
Yeah, joint top.
Wow.
So
with how many others?
well, his joint. I don't know. I haven't looked into it further. I just heard that stat last night to Killer. So the question to you guys is: do you start Ollie Watkins ahead of Harry Kane?
No,
Why?
because Watkins is better coming off the bench.
Yeah.
But you started with Ivan Toney as
Yeah, I did.
So
Because I think Ivan Toney's better off starting.
Rather than coming off the bench. Yeah. So Watkins is like the super sub, that Com said. Yeah.
Is there a call in England about dropping Harry Kane from a team? Is there a debate there that he's too selfish?
I don't think that he's too selfish. It's the kind of thing like he's had so many chances, and even though he's just pointed out, he's still somehow joint top scorer.
With six other players.
Yeah, I mean, I still think he's the best finisher we've got. I know people might say Tony, maybe, but I think he probably still is. You look at his goal return over so many years, you can't really say that he's not. But as we just said, it's his dropping deep nonsense. If you get rid of that, I don't think there'd be a question. But you could say that Tony deserved a chance, but maybe Tony should have been given his chance in one of the group games rather than waiting for the final.
Yeah. See, I understand where you're coming from, Tequila. I do. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Harry Kane probably is the best out-and-out goal scorer in our English side. However, we are not Harry Kane FC. We're England. This is why I've put Ivan Toney in, because he can score the goals, and like I said, he's very, very quick, and he does have a bit of link-up play. But if Kane is not there and he's not the focal point, then your players like Bellingham, Foden, Saka, these all have to contribute a little bit more than what they do. They can't just ping a ball and be like, "Oh, it's all right, Kane's there."
Well, the thing is, Com, is like I don't know if that mentality is there between Kane, Bellingham, and Foden, because when Kane is dropping back, then surely Bellingham and Foden should be bombing on to get it played in. And I don't think that understanding particularly that I've seen is particularly there.
Who then places if Kane's dropping deep like he has been? Who's then the striker? Who's up there to get the ball? And there is no one, because England play so defensive to play so back, don't they?
The thing is, Dermo, we've got a little bit of an embarrassment to riches in that kind of support striker, kind of attacking midfielder position. If Foden or Bellingham weren't around for whatever reason, right, it would be pretty simple. Kane plays behind Tony or Watkins. But because you've got Foden and Bellingham who all like to be in that same position, that's, so Kane's kind of like, I think Gareth Southgate would have an easier time if Foden and Bellingham weren't there in that way. Just put Kane behind the striker and it would be sorted. But you got three players who all want to do the same thing, even though Kane's meant to be a striker. That's the fucking problem.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask you a question, guys. We had the golden generation of 2006 to this generation of England players and squad that have been more successful than any other England international side since 1966. Do you feel, look, in my view, I think the 2006 the golden generation on Ericsson was a wasted opportunity. I know all the arguments about Southgate and how boring it is. Believe me, we did a few England watch-alongs. I watched one game when I was out with my back, and Derval, Mrs. Tron, said to me, right, within 23 minutes, I fell asleep. That's all it took. I mean, 23 minutes, and I woke up and it was 80 minutes, and like, is it still playing?
Me and Com, after watching stuff a lot, Dermo, you build up a resistance. It just takes a couple of years.
So you look at 2006, the golden generation, you look at this generation. Can you compare the two? Or do you feel there's no comparing it? It's just different time, different football, and that's the end of it.
I'll be honest with you, Dermo. I'd love to have Rio Ferdinand and John Terry in this team in defence. You have no idea. I think with the rest of the team, having Ferdinand and Terry as the two centre halves would be like.
So where's the question? Yeah, the question more like what I was trying to get at. I'm sorry, it's long-winded. Where's Gareth Southgate succeeded in making this team work? Where Sven-Göran Eriksson and Capello and managers like that couldn't make it work.
I've had this argument with colleagues at work, and I got a lot of heat for it. So I'm going to continue with that, and hopefully I get some heat back, because I love having a bit of a.
Boo! I don't know what you're going to say already.
The players back when Sven-Göran Eriksson and Fabio Capello were in charge of the international England side, the players that they played against were more consistent and better.
Yeah.
You know, we played against the likes of, you know, we played a prime Lionel Messi, prime Ronaldo. You know, there were plenty of Toni Kroos, Luka Modric. They were all younger, all fitter. You know, and I think footballers now aren't 100. I mean, there are outliers, there are exceptions.
Yeah.
You know, you've got the Yamal, for instance, Bellingham. You know, Mbappe, but then again, he's not been absolutely fantastic recently. You have got little things, but I think the overall quality of player is a lot worse now than what it was back then.
That's interesting.
I think.
Yeah.
I
So
think
you just think the quality of teams are not as good then?
Honestly, I don't. I mean, you know, if you didn't look up a lineup, yeah. So I don't know. I'm trying to think of a.
I think you make
for
a good
instance,
point, mate.
like Germany. For Germany,
Yeah.
how many Germans can you actually name in this current squad?
Kroos.
Musiala, is that how you pronounce his name? He's good.
So Kroos, who was in the old one.
Yeah.
Musiala.
Florian Wirtz, he looks a prospect. A couple of them.
Muller, he's one of the old generation as well.
The keeper. I know the keeper off the top of my head.
So can I. I can't think of his name.
Yeah, you're about Manuel Neuer, yeah?
That's it, Neuer, yeah. So,
Neuer, he's an old one.
Yeah.
So, right, you're struggling to think of them. If I turn around and say to you, can you name me a couple of the players that won the World Cup with Germany? When one of the players scored the last minute goal and he was the youngest player on the pitch, you know. If you can't remember, I can happily give you some of the names.
Yeah. And look, if I'm going back, look, I can remember players like Lothar Matthäus and players like that, Jürgen Klinsmann, Rudi Völler.
What I mean,
you go back to players like that. I mean, you go back to 2010. That Germans, a lot of the players that are playing now were just starting the international careers in 2010's column. If you look back at the German side,
I will tell you the German side from 2010.
Closer. That was his name, wasn't it?
Miroslav Klose.
That's closer, yeah.
As well. So the German World Cup squad.
The German player who joined Arsenal, who ended up. Oh, what was his name? What's his name? That's it.
So you had players like Neuer, for instance. Mario Götze, Muller, Klose, Lucas Podolski, Toni Kroos, Mesut Ozil, Bastian Schweinsteiger, Sami Khedira, Jerome Boateng, Philipp Lahm. You know, the list just goes on. And I think all those players...
Great fullback he was, Philipp.
This is what I mean. Most of these players, well, pretty much all of these players would probably walk into most of the positions in the current German squad.
Yeah, they would.
Because I don't think the quality is as good.
No,
and it's the same for England. I don't think the quality of the England squad is as good, apart from, like I said, the few outliers here and there.
I mean, you look back to the Gerrards and your Lampards and your Ashley Coles and John Terrys and Rio Ferdinand and players like that. They would walk into this English team, the England team now, without a problem.
You'd put Gerrard where Rice is. Rice is nowhere near the level of Gerrard was.
Why do you think it's worked out? Was it back then too much team, like all the Liverpool players and then all the Arsenal players and all the Man United players?
Well, that was the main thing that I think Southgate's. That's probably his biggest plus, is that I think he was able to kind of get rid of a lot of the cliques and factions, because he was so embedded with most of these players, because obviously he's been a manager of the under-21s as well. So he's been involved in the England setup with most of these players for the last 10, 11 years. So he's managed to kind of change that mentality, which is probably the best thing he's done, is to get rid of all these kind of cliques. Well, could he have done that? You know, if you go back in time in your time machine and you say Southgate was manager of that golden generation, could he have done the same thing? And if he would have been able to have done the same thing, would that team have been able to actually achieve something? I actually think probably yes. Because some of the players we had, if their mentality and their inability to get on with each other because of their Premiership rivalries was the main factor behind it, that Sven and Capello couldn't do anything about, then I think they could have won something as well. So I'll give Southgate again. I'll give him that credit, because I think he's probably managed to get rid of that stuff.
Wayne Bonner says.
CM
Wayne Bonner says, "Hey, damn, Column's the CM Punk of the England supporters."
Colm is the voice of the
bombs.
voiceless. Yeah,
I'm
he's
going
the
to drop
voice of the
pipe
voiceless.
bombs, me man.
Now,
I mean, I'm just looking at. Sorry, Dem. I'm just looking at the England squad from 2010.
Yeah.
So Pickford, I think, stays.
Yeah.
If I'm not going to lie, we had David
was Robertson
James
playing then?
David James, Joe Hart.
I think he's better than David James and Joe Hart actually.
Yeah, so David James and Joe Hart were our 1 and 2. So he stays. And then I think Walker stays in because we had Ashley Cole.
Ashley Cole was
Glenn
a left
Johnson.
back, though.
Sorry,
Ashley
Glenn
Cole
Johnson.
Yeah, he's better than Glenn Johnson. Yeah.
And then I think we replace the 2 centre backs that we've got. I don't think Stones or Gahey stay in because we had John Terry in there and Ferdinand. And then we've got other players that could possibly get in.
Ashley Cole would be a left back, wouldn't he? Ashley Cole.
Ashley Cole would be a left back. You know, we've got Wayne Rooney as well, who's there.
Would you say that? There you go. It's an interesting one. Would you have Rooney or Bellingham or Foden, and you can only have one of them? Because I think they're all similar, kind of like.
I'm taking Rooney.
I would take Ryan Rooney as well.
Yeah.
So would you have played Rudy behind Kane then? That would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'd play Rooney behind Kane. Or if it were the other way around, I'd play Kane behind Rooney, either or. I think both of them are complementing each other.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But anyway, guys, look, we've gone through all the stats. Just one more stat before we get to your goal predictions and who you think is going to win it. Now, I found this little stat. It's England goal scorers by club affiliation from 1872 to 2023. Look at that top of the list, Tequila.
Look how far you've had to go back for it.
I'm gonna get told off for not respecting history again, Dermo.
He's had to go back to 1872 for it.
Yeah. The only 2 clubs to hit over 200 goals is Tottenham Hotspur Football Club and Manchester United Football Club.
Doesn't that just mean though that Tottenham have just had a lot of really good forwards?
Yeah,
maybe not defenders and just.
But
really
aren't you proud by that though, Colin? Tequila, I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
We're top of the list.
Of course I am.
Look where Arsenal and Man City are.
Oh, well, Arsenal for ages didn't have any English at all, did they? They went through a period of not having English players.
And Man City's down the bottom. So that's a little stat. Right, Colin.
had to go all the way back to 1800s.
Bless.
Yeah.
Just so we could have that in, because I'm sure there were a period of time where Spurs didn't have any English players in their team.
Yeah, look, I just take what I'm given, and I'll just take that.
Let him have his moment. Let him have his moment.
Well, you're a Spurs fan as well. You're supposed to be happy with that as well.
I am happy about it. I am.
Good. Now, Colin, score prediction, and will Gareth Southgate remain as England manager before the England game on the 7th of September? So, and where can people find you at the end of that as well?
God, score prediction. I'm gonna go 2-1. That's what I'm going for. 2-1.
2.
I'm gonna go 2-1 Spain. I think they've got too much quality for England to handle, but that's just me. I do hope England win, to be fair, because we're going to get a bank holiday if they do.
Is that true? Are they actually going to do that?
Yeah. Apparently, they actually are going to go ahead with it. So yeah, what were the other stuff I had to say?
Will Gareth Southgate
plug in yourself, mate? Yeah.
Will Gareth Southgate be England manager by the time you play us? And then where can people find you, sir?
Yes, Southgate will stay.
Oh,
I think. I'm sorry, he'll stay. I think they're offering him a new contract as well, which is going to be even worse. And obviously, you can find me here, THFC Till I Die, Full-Time Sports Network. You'll find me on European Football Network Till I Die. Jesus, there's so many channels. MEFC Spotlight and Double Dum Gaming as well, which is the gaming channel.
Yeah, which is it. Colin, thank you again for coming on. Thank you for your insight.
Pleasure.
And thank you for your thing. Tequila, Lassie, before you have to go over and save another person out of a well.
Got to go save Timmy from the well, yeah.
Yeah, before you have to go off and find Timmy. Score prediction. Will Gareth Southgate be England manager by the time you play us on the 7th of September? And where can people find you?
2-0 to Spain, I'm afraid. Will Southgate be manager? No. He had another chance and he failed again. If my prediction comes true, so no. Time for some new blood.
We've got so much faith in the squad, haven't we?
Yeah. Where you can find me on, obviously, with you guys on Tottenham HFC Till I Die, and on the Play Pal, which is my little gaming podcast, where we just started a game called Stellaris, a Let's Play. So,
well, just let you know, I completed the Arkham City last night.
Good. Did you do all the side quests?
No, I'm in the middle of doing that, so I'm going to start Arkham Asylum tonight.
So when he says he's completed, it means he's 15% completed it.
Yeah, I completed the main story.
You haven't done all the Riddler stuff about, have you?
No, I'm in the middle of doing them. I started them last night. Wayne Bonnet says we're Spurs fans. We take what we can get. Exactly.
Indeed.
Exactly. And Wayne's gone for a 3-0 England win.
I hope you're right, Wayne.
My score prediction is going to be, I don't believe I'm going to say this, and I actually can't believe I'm going to say this. I'm going for 1-0 England.
Now, there'll be more than one goal.
I just think it's going to be
keeping a clean sheet.
I just think it's going to be a tight affair, and it's going to be who's going to take their chances. And I just think the way this tournament has gone and what I've seen of England, I think England might actually win it.
They've got luck. They've got luck on their side. I'll give you that one.
Because God help me, because we're never going to hear the end of it when you do win it.
Damn right.
I'm sorry. Now, I understand that's what you think is going to happen, but we've used all of our luck, all of Argentina's luck, all of Spain's luck, all of Germany. We've used everybody's luck to get to the final. There is no luck left in the well.
The luck of the Irish is rubbish.
But
Lassie luck. There's no luck in the well.
Does he deserve credit from getting you to a final on first manager ever on foreign soil? That is an achievement within itself. All right, and there shows how much love they have for their manager.
I will give Gareth Southgate 0.0000001% respect. If he wins the damn thing, then I'll give him 5%.
He's just so boring. I can't help it. I don't think he's like the worst manager England ever had. But he's just so boring.
Dermo.
Yeah.
People like I know there's serious things going off out there, wars and everything. I know there's serious things going off. But when they're doing interrogations to the opposite side, they show Gareth Southgate football. It is torture.
Do you know what? We've done most of the England watch-alongs, and I have found it tough at some points, to be fair. It has been hard. Wayne's going for one step further. He says England to win the trophy on German soil.
That would be pretty sweet.
He's just taken it into another dimension completely. It just brings me back. We'll take them in the beaches and whatever that old thing was said at the time.
On the beaches, all that stuff.
Yeah. But anyway,
we can't do that to the Germans. We can't do that to the Germans.
No.
We can't win 2 world wars and a trophy on their soil. That's just not fair.
That's too much, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, we are covering the game here on the European Football Sports Network till I die tomorrow night. We're on from 7:30 with all the build-up to the England game, with all the thoughts. I think I'm doing it with Tequila. Colum's not around. I don't know about Philip yet. I don't know if he's.
I'll ask Carl if
Carl wants to jump on, and if Wayne wants to jump on, let us know.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting game. But Colin, thank you for joining me. Tequila, thank you for joining me as well. Philip,
you're welcome.
If you are watching, thank you for joining us. Whatever you do, enjoy the rest of your evening. And there's plenty of Spurs content coming up in GHFC Till I Die as well from next week, and a bit later, and also content on this channel. Good luck, good night, and come on, you Spurs. Cannot. I cannot say come on, England. Never can.
Come on, England.
Come on, you England. There you go.
Come on, Ireland.